In a world, there was one podcast that made all others look like silly little part-time, half-baked ideas that should have been thrown in the trash can after being written down. That's a super long-winded way of saying that Drunk Theory Podcast is the best-kept secret out there right now. They're a bunch of idiots talking about conspiracy theories, and when these four come together, they have the capability to solve just about any question coming their way. But keep in mind, they're idiots, so sometimes they won't have the answer. But we guarantee you'll end up laughing so hard you cry or urinate in your pants. I don't make the rules here. So let Matthew, Kara, Kelly, and Ryan give you everything you never know you needed, and more. Only on Drunk Theory Podcast, available on all major streaming platforms. More conspiracies coming soon.
Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Joe.
And this is Crime Divers.
Hello everybody, welcome to today's episode.
Hello.
So, this is actually a first for Crime Divers.
Oh, okay. Why is it a first?
Because this episode is part one.
Oh.
I'm doing
one part?
Yeah, I'm doing a two-parter. I think I could have made it into one episode, but it would just be maybe a bit longer than normal.
Okay, well.
But because most of our episodes are sort of 30-40 minutes,
Yeah.
I thought rather than just doing one long episode, I'll just do two-parter. So this one is out obviously today, and I'm going to bring I'm going to publish the part 2 tomorrow. So you don't have to wait for very long.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because like I know what it's like when you're waiting for another episode.
God,
you have to
I
wait
know.
like a week. I forget what's
I know,
happened.
because you forget the part of that story, so it's probably good to have it in the 2 days.
So it goes together. So I'm gonna.
So you're actually in for a treat this week. You're getting one today, and then you're getting one the next part tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh well, fair enough.
Yep.
What's it called?
It is called The Medicine Hat Murders.
The Medicine Hat Murders.
Medicine Hat's a place.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about.
Yeah, I know, because I can see you looking confused there, so I thought I might as well just tell you straight away. But it's
actually a place.
It's actually a place called Medicine Hat.
Oh, okay.
How cool is that?
That's pretty cool. Never heard of it, but where is it?
It's in Alberta, Canada.
Oh, we're in Canada. Okay, fair enough.
But I wonder where did that name come from?
It's a bit different, I suppose. Bit different.
Yeah. So, shall we dive in?
Well, let's dive into this first part.
Okay. So, as I said, today we're in a place called Medicine Hat, which is in Alberta, Canada.
Okay.
So, it was 1 p.m. on the 23rd of April 2006, and a little boy called Gareth asked his mum if he could go and play with his friend Jacob, who lived next door.
Mm-hmm.
So his mum said yeah, and off he ran off to go to Jacob's house because his dad's truck was in the driveway, so he's like, oh, they must be home.
Mm-hmm.
So within minutes he was back, and he told his mum that there were bodies at Jacob's house with blood on them.
Okay.
So he had knocked on the door, and when there'd been no answer, this little boy, he was 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I said that, did I? No, it was. I think he was 6.
Oh, imagine it's a 6-year-old. Oh, that's like my daughter finding a body. Oh, that's
so he
horrible.
knocked on the door, and he was like, no answer, and he was like, a typical little 6-year-old, like, the truck's in the drive, so you must be in. So I'm just going to go and have a nosy around.
Because they don't care.
No, so he looked through the basement window,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where he saw bodies.
Oh, what a shame. That's.
I know, it's awful. So Gareth's mum went over because she was like,
yeah, right.
yeah, like, what has he actually seen?
Uh-huh.
So she went over and she looked in the window and she saw a body of a man who was lying on his back on the basement floor, covered in blood from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
And he was only wearing a pair of boxer shorts, and his arms were up like he had been defending himself, so his arms were like still up in the air.
Like that.
Yeah, like that.
I know, like nobody can see that, but I'm sure you know what I mean.
And it's like a defence and, putting his arms up. Which I kind of thought was surprising, because I just thought that your arms would drop.
Oh, yeah. No,
but,
that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but because normally you think your body would go lifeless and
yeah. You just banged your hand on the ear.
Yeah,
but apparently that's the way that he was.
Oh, right,
so
okay. Fair
the
enough.
human body never ceases to amaze.
No.
Yeah, so she saw... Oh, no, sorry. And she also saw a part of another body, but she could just see a pair of legs, which were sticking out from behind a couch, and they were also covered in blood. Mm-hmm. So she immediately called the police. And when they arrived, they described the scene as a bloodbath. Mm-hmm. The bodies were of Mark and Deborah Richardson. Mm-hmm. They were married. Mark was 42 and Deborah was 48, and they had 2 children, 12-year-old Jasmine and 8-year-old Jacob. So after seeing the bodies in the basement, the police checked the rest of the house, because at this point they just see them. They didn't know about the children.
Yeah, because they would have went straight to where the
they just saw 2 bodies, so they didn't know it. They didn't know if there was anybody else in the house. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they found 8-year-old Jacob on his bed. Mm-hmm. He had died as his throat had been cut.
Oh no.
Officers then saw a family photo and realised there was another child in the family, Jasmine, but there was no sign of her, so it was assumed that she'd been kidnapped or she would be murdered. Like, they obviously immediately feared the worst. Uh-huh. So I'll just give you a little bit of background on the family. Uh-huh. Mark and Deborah had both been substance abusers before they met, but they had both turned their lives around and they were clean when they met in 1990.
Oh, right, okay.
They moved to Medicine Hat from a place called Sudbury 15 years later after they'd been married. Mm-hmm. Mark worked in the oil and gas industry. He was a great guy, a hard worker and a family man. Deborah worked as a cleaner, but she was about to set up her own business at home, offering Reiki. Is that how you pronounce it? Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Reiki.
Yeah.
I just realised I didn't know how to say that.
Well, there's a surprise.
So she was offering classes in her basement. Mm-hmm. So she was interested in native spirituality and Wicca. Mm-hmm. So their daughter Jasmine, she was happy and outgoing. She was a good student. She had lots of friends. Her bedroom was like a typical little girl's bedroom. It was like all pink and teddy bears and unicorns. Sounds like your daughter's bedroom. She was creative and she was interested in the same sort of things as her mum, like meditation, crystals, Reiki, and Wicca. Mm-hmm. Jacob, he was just a funny little boy. He loved Star Wars and hockey. Mm-hmm. Him and Jasmine, they got on really well. They would play together, and basically the whole family were just like really close.
Yeah, it sounded like a nice family, yeah.
Loving family. Mm-hmm. However, not good when there's a however, is
I know, there never is there?
As Jasmine got to about age 11, she started to change.
Okay.
Her parents weren't really concerned to start off with, as it was nothing too major. They were just kind of like, oh, it's part of, growing up and finding out who you are. Because she started to wear like dark makeup, darker clothing. Right. She was getting interested in like goth culture.
Yeah, I was going to say goth sort of, yeah, that's where I was thinking you were going with that.
But as I said, her parents, they were the kind of parents that were like, well, they have to express themselves. They let her express herself. Yeah, as long as she's still behaving herself, it wasn't a problem. Yeah. But she had matured quite young, and she looked about 15 or 16.
Oh wow, really?
But like as I said, she wasn't acting out or anything. She was still well behaved. She was still a good kid. Mm-hmm. But she was starting to use the internet, and she signed up to MySpace. Mm-hmm. Listen to this. On her MySpace page, she listed her heroes.
Okay.
The first one, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Why would he be a hero?
Exactly. That's I'd be a bit worried if that was my child's.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, fair enough if there's like a pop star or whatever. I mean, not that they're always good role models either, but
yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer, definitely not a good role model.
No, definitely not a good role model.
Batman, which that's fine.
Okay, Batman, alright.
No, with Batman being your role model. He's a good guy.
Yeah, fights crime.
Chris Angel. I had to Google him because I'd never heard of him. He's an American magician, illusionist, and musician. Oh, right, okay. So that sounds alright. And Marilyn Manson.
Right. The look might be Marilyn Manson, I suppose.
Yeah. So that was her heroes.
Okay.
Bit of a mix there.
But yeah, definitely a bit of a mixed bag there.
She started wearing shorter skirts, fishnet tights. I mean, come on, she's like 11, 12-year-old.
Wow.
Spiked collars. Mm-hmm. And I get it, expressing yourself, but I still think I'm not so sure about the fishnet and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I mean, if she's already looking older than she is, and dressing like that. Yeah. She could look a lot older, but I hate when kids start to grow up. I'm like, can you just stay innocent?
I know, can you not just stay little? I keep saying that to your daughter. Stop growing up.
I know.
Your daughter promised me she was going to stop when she was 5.
And she's now 6.
And she's now 6, so she lied to me.
I know, but I just don't want them to grow up and like stop being innocent and stuff.
No, I know. You know, obviously I have the older ones. They're adults now, and just, you know, I look back when I look at your daughter and I look back and remember when they were like that, and you know, I'm just like, I actually liked them when they were that age.
Yeah. And then they grow up and get attitude and hit puberty and all that. But they have to grow up sometime.
Yeah, I know. So, so when she was back at school, her teachers did contact her parents about what she was wearing, but her parents were just like, well, what's the problem? She's just expressing herself. She's not hurting anyone. Because again, she was still...
Yeah, I mean...
She was still behaving herself. She was, you know, her dress sense was changing. But apart from that, you know...
Well, it's no harm done, is it?
Yeah, exactly. But by that November 2005, she was 12 by now. She had joined a website called vampirefreaks.com. She also joined some other social media sites, and she would put her age as 15 or 16, and her usernames would be things like Killer Kitty and Runaway Devil.
Okay.
There's actually a book called Runaway Devil, which is about her.
Oh, is it?
But I haven't read it, so I can't
tell you anything about it.
I can't recommend it. But, well, I can recommend it because I've heard other people recommending it, so I think it's a good book.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't read it because, you know...
You don't read books?
I actually do read books, thank you very much.
You used to. You don't so much now, do you?
Yeah, I still read.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh. Right,
I read Harry Potter all the time.
How many times do you need to read it?
I like Harry Potter. I'm a Harry Potter fan, okay?
Well, I know you are, but you don't need to read the book over and
I actually
over
listen
and
to it like every night when I go to sleep. I listen to it on the audiobook.
Right, okay.
Fall asleep to it.
Next.
Well, not every night, because quite often I fall asleep to true crime podcasts as well.
I like Harry Potter, but I've read the books once. I don't need to read them again.
Have you only read them once? Oh my god, seriously.
I've seen the films. I've been to Florida. And I've been in the Hogsmeade and King's Cross and Diagon Alley and on the rides. I'm fine.
I'm shaking my head because I'm like, are you actually my sister?
Says you sitting in the Harry Potter outfit.
Yeah, I've got it's not an outfit, it's jammies I've got on. I've got Harry Potter jammies on. I've got a Quidditch t-shirt.
And she makes an effort for our podcast, as you can see.
Yeah, I've got my jammies on. I think I've actually commented on like things before on Twitter when people have said, what do you do to prepare for recording? And I'm like, I get out of my bed. It's true.
Oh, I know.
I do. Right. Well, if you would insist on coming down in the morning.
Back to it, please.
Okay. So Jasmine and some of her friends started hanging around at the mall with some goth kids. But some of them were like much older, like 18 and 19.
Okay.
Some of the older boys started calling Jasmine at home. And I think that's when her parents started to realise that maybe we do have something to be concerned about. And her teachers were also seeing a change in her behaviour by now. She was like answering them back, her grades were slipping, and she was just like misbehaving in general, which was unusual for her. You know, as I said before, she'd always been such a good kid and she followed the rules at school. She actually spoke to her guidance counsellor, right, and asked to be put in foster care.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
When asked why, she said she didn't like living under her parents' rules.
Well, who's to say that a foster parent's rules would be any better?
So she was obviously asked, you know, if she was being abused and things like that, and she said no. You know,
she don't like the rules.
Yeah. So obviously that wasn't taken any further because basically she was just a 12-year-old who didn't like having to do as she was told.
Yeah.
Basically that's
yeah,
what it was.
That's not a reason to be put in foster care.
No. And yeah.
I might say, I mean, even if you did get in foster care, they might have the same rules.
Well, they probably did because I don't think they had strict rules. You know, as I've sort of mentioned about the parents did believe in letting them express themselves and, you know, so they said to me they sound like pretty cool parents.
Well,
and they've only started to worry when
she started misbehaving.
When she's misbehaving, yeah, that's normal.
Oh, that is, yeah. I was going to say that surely is normal.
Yes. So at home, Jasmine and her parents were fighting because obviously they were concerned about how she was behaving at school and because she was hanging around with older people. One day, Jasmine's friend Kaylee, who was 13, introduced her to a guy called Jeremy Steinke. I think that's how you pronounce it, Steinke. They were at a mall and he was one of the goth group. He was popular in the group, he was always the centre of attention, and Jasmine liked that. What are you looking at?
Whatever that is.
What?
Oh, it's just the lock. It's
the lock on the door.
The shadow makes it look like somebody else.
I'm trying to do a podcast here and you're staring above my head.
Sorry.
So, sorry about that. It was just distracting me. So Jeremy was popular in the group. He was always the centre of attention and Jasmine liked that. However, Jeremy was 23.
Oh, right.
So remember, she's 12.
Oh, God, yeah. Right.
But that didn't stop them getting to know each other, and a couple of months later, he asked her to be his girlfriend.
Okay.
She said that she had told him that she was 13.
Which doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, I know, it doesn't make it any better in the slightest. But he said he was under the impression that she was 16. I have no idea why he thought that she would lie about being younger.
Well, yeah, you think she would lie about being older rather than younger.
It just doesn't make sense, does it?
No,
so
I don't
know. He said he's under the impression she was 16, probably to make it sound better.
Well,
but
true, yeah.
I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but in America, isn't the age of consent 18?
I can't correct you because I don't actually know.
I could be wrong, but I've got a feeling that, the age of consent is 16 here, but I think it's 18 in America. So even if she was 16, she's still underage. Are you Googling?
Yes, I
am. Can I?
Oh, it's got each US state has its own general age of consent.
Right. Okay. So Google. Where are we?
Oh, that's in America.
We're in Canada.
We're in Canada, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're not even in America.
We're not even in America.
Yeah.
Oh, typical Jill.
Because the most common age of consent is 16, but it could be either 16, 17 or 18 in some states.
We're not in America.
Well, I know, but I'm just telling it for anybody that wants to know now, because they probably did.
Can you Google Canada, please?
Yes.
Because why do I get things so wrong all the time? So what's the age of consent in Canada?
16.
It's 16. All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. So that's obviously why he's saying that then, because age 16 is the age of consent. Okay. So. Oh my God. Should we just
move on?
We'll just move on, okay?
Yes.
So, Jeremy, he was a high school dropout. He was bullied at school. His mum was an alcoholic, and he would often be abused by her different partners when growing up. Mm-hmm. He had attempted suicide before he met Jasmine, so it sounds like he'd had a bit of a shit life so far. Mm-hmm. And he said that he was a 300-year-old werewolf. So... So he's actually a lot older than 23.
Why did you sort of say that quietly? Like,
because it's just so stupid.
He said he was a 300-year-old werewolf.
Yeah, so he was actually a lot older than 23.
Okay, I'm assuming that's not been proved then.
No, he just seems to think that he was a werewolf.
Okay.
I don't know.
You know what? Each to their own and all that.
He wore a vial of blood around his neck and he claimed he liked the taste of blood. So I'm thinking, so if you like the taste of blood, is that not a vampire thing?
I was going to say, yeah, that's not more vampire than werewolf.
Who knows? Anyway, so she didn't tell her parents about Jeremy for obvious reasons. I mean, you're 12.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, because they were She didn't tell her parents about Jeremy for obvious reasons, but because they were so concerned about how she was behaving, they started monitoring her online activity, because they obviously didn't realise that they had anything to worry about to start off with. Which, back then, the early 2000s, then maybe you wouldn't sort of realise so much. I mean, now it's a lot different. Now,
it's much different.
Yes, monitor your children online. Mm-hmm. And that's how they found out about Jeremy, because they read the emails that the pair were sending to each other. But I still don't... I'm not sure if they actually knew exactly how old Jeremy was, but they knew that there was a big age gap.
He was older.
And, well, I'm not being funny, but she's 12.
Well, yeah, she shouldn't really be having any kind of boyfriend. Well, of seriousness.
No. She's still a kid.
Yeah.
So obviously they immediately told her that she wasn't allowed to see him anymore. Mm-hmm. They grounded her and took her computer away. She was only allowed to go to school. Basically, that was it. Nowhere else, just school and back. Mm-hmm. So at night times and the weekends, she'd be at home with no internet access. So her parents thought that they had put a stop to her and Jeremy. Mm-hmm. But what they didn't know was that Jasmine would just use the computer at school. So they would email each other and use social media sites to keep in contact.
Right.
And then Jasmine would call Jeremy at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning from the house phone. Because obviously our parents would be asleep. Mm-hmm. And like he would write songs for her and sing them to her. So she just thought it was all very romantic.
I was going to say, she's obviously besotted with this guy.
Yeah, we see grooming. She sees, she thinks it's romance. Mm-hmm. But like Jasmine's parents, they just wanted their little girl back. So they suggested going to family counselling. So Jasmine actually went willingly. Right. And they actually started to see some improvement. Mm-hmm. So they were hoping that things were getting back to normal, because obviously they didn't know that she was still seeing Jeremy. They thought, right, they've put a stop to that. Counselling, things are getting back. We're getting her little girl back. Uh-huh. So because she was improving, her parents gave her some of her privileges back. So she was allowed access to the computer, and they also gave her permission to go to a punk show, because that's what she was into. But there was a catch. They were going with her.
I was going to say, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair dues.
I'd be the same.
Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't really want to have to go, like. But...
Well, I really, really wouldn't want to go either. I think rather than me actually going, I would maybe find another adult. What are you into?
Can you join to my daughter?
Yeah. Obviously an adult that I trusted. But...
Oh, yeah. No.
But yeah, so they went to this punk show, but whilst there, they lost her for a bit. And when they went looking for her, they found her in an alleyway kissing Jeremy.
So they actually left the venue to look for her because they thought that she would...
Yeah, they must have like searched the whole of the venue, couldn't find her, and they must have went outside, and that's where she was, snogging her boyfriend.
Okay.
So they were furious, obviously, and she was grounded for a month with no phone or computer privileges. So with her parents being a lot harder on her attitude just got worse.
She started to rebel.
Yeah, and she was like more aggressive with people, and even her friends were actually starting to be a bit afraid of her. Mm-hmm. Her friends actually agreed with her parents, and they thought it was gross that a 23-year-old had a 12-year-old girlfriend, and his friends were pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't, in some kind of friendship groups, especially little girls, they maybe think, well, that's dead cool that you're going out with somebody older, but I think 23 was just way too old.
I mean, if it'd been maybe like 14, 15, maybe you could have like, oh, right, okay, but that's too big an age.
Yeah, and obviously, and his friends were the same. They were like,
yeah, why are you going out with a 12-year-old girl when you could go out with someone like that's an adult, that's more mature, that's... Yeah,
I just don't see what a 23-year-old would have in common with a 12-year-old. I mean, I know they're into the goth scene and stuff like that, but still.
But romantically?
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. You can still be friendly with somebody.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not saying you can't be friendly with somebody a bit older, but...
No.
I think if it turns into any kind of romance, then at that... until you're of a league... I mean, even, I know people have age gaps, and it's always not a bad thing. Once you're in adulthood, it doesn't seem as bad, but certainly whilst you're a minor...
When you're past the age of consent, fine, do what you like.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, if that's what floats your boat and all that, then fair enough. But no,
she's 12. She's a kid. She's a child.
Oh yeah, she is.
So, but I think because they knew that their friends didn't really agree with them, so I think that kind of drove them to be more like, oh, it's us against the world kind of thing, because they've got this big romance and nobody approves of it, and like,
but we're just going to show them, and
okay. So one day Jasmine emailed Jeremy using the school computer, and she said, I hate them, meaning her parents. So I have this plan. It begins with me killing them, and it ends with me living with you.
Okay.
12 years old. Who thinks of killing their parents at 12?
I was just going to say that's...
I mean, I'm sure we all kind of maybe didn't like our parents at some point, but I never...
Oh yeah, we could go as far as say I hate you and all that, but I mean, that's extreme for a 12-year-old to be even...
Well, it's extreme for anybody.
Well, for anybody, but especially a 12-year-old having those thoughts. It's...
yeah, that's worrying.
That is very worrying.
So he replied saying that he loved her plan, but they would have to get a little more creative with the details. Apparently Jasmine had told her friends that she wanted to kill her parents before, but no one thought that she was being serious. But Jeremy even posted about it online. So he actually posted, I'm going to quote what he posted. It said, "Pomit." No, it didn't.
Okay. What did it actually
It didn't say that at all. Pomit? What the hell is pomit? It was payment.
Payment?
Exclamation mark. My lover's rents are totally unfair. Rents as in parents.
Right, okay.
obviously that's how it's
right, rents, pay rents. Oh, yeah, I get that, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've never called my parents rents. But, yeah, my lover's rents are totally unfair. They say they really care. They don't know what's going on, they just assume. As their greed continues to consume, she is slowly going insane. She continues to think that I came into her life to help her out and to stop what they keep trying to shout. It's all total bullshit. Their throats I want to slit. They will regret the shit they have done, especially when I see to it that they are gone. They shall pay for their insolence. Finally, there shall be silence. Their blood shall be payment.
Okay, that's that's very dark.
He's 23. He's an adult. Mm-hmm. So how does he not realise that her parents are just looking out for their child?
Well, exactly. I can understand if he was like a 12, 13-year-old and was feeling that way because, you know, their maturity and they think, you know, he thinks it's like the world's against him, etc. But at 23, you should know that the parents are just looking out for your best interest, surely.
I mean, everybody's mature levels are different and things like that, but but you know, by the time I was 23, I still had issues, like parent issues. You know, I was still kind of being a bit of a rebel and all the rest of it. But I still knew that whatever my parents had done in the past, which was never anything bad, you know, our parents brought us up just normal. They were just, we had rules and all the rest of it. But yeah, I always knew that. I always knew that my mum and dad loved me, no matter what. That's what I was trying to say.
You might have not agreed with what they wanted you to not do and stuff like that, but you know, you didn't want to kill them.
Yeah, no, and I mean, but then again, he had a shit childhood as well. He wasn't. If he was getting abused,
this is true.
Maybe he's grown up not having the respect for parents and. The fact that they maybe he didn't have those rules and
no, that's true.
I mean,
true.
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But
I would have thought by 23 that he would have been saying to the 12-year-old, no, that's not right. You shouldn't be thinking like that. Your parents are just.
But then it's stupid to even write that on social media as well, because you know it always gets.
On
social media is like going to get traced back to you.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, like neither of them seem to know what a digital footprint is because obviously there was emails, there was stuff on social media.
There's paper trails there, but in electronic form.
A digital footprint.
Well, what you said.
So friends of both of them said that Jasmine was constantly begging Jeremy to kill her parents.
Right.
She would say things like, "If you love me, you would do it." And also by now, Jasmine was sneaking out the house to be with Jeremy and they were having sex.
Oh, right, okay.
So they're like 12.
A more serious turn.
Yeah.
In that sort way. Oh, no.
Yeah, before it was just like, I think it was all kind of very, I love you and I can't wait to be together. And I don't think it was really physical. Yeah, but now it's
physical.
She's 12. So Jeremy, he met up with one of his friends one night and he told his friend that Jasmine was probably going to break up with him soon if he didn't kill her parents. And then he asked his friend to help him kill the parents.
And his friend thought that was a good idea?
No, his friend said no.
Oh, that's good. Good friend.
So they were taking drugs at the time, so the friend just didn't take him seriously. It was just like, he's
whatever.
He's off his face, like, you know, stupid kid talk kind of thing, you know. So not long after that, he even told someone on social media, on a public page, that he was going to kill Jasmine's parents that weekend.
Okay.
So his friend had posted something about, it was something right, it was like, I'm so bored that, like, I'm hitting myself to stop the boredom, like, you know, stupid things that people write online. And Jeremy had replied saying that he would rather do morbid stuff to others, like Jasmine's parents, for example. He was going to do them that weekend.
Okay.
So
I mean, like, one thing to commit the crime, but how on earth do you think you're getting away with it now after posting all that?
Because they're stupid. They obviously haven't thought that far ahead.
I realise this.
They've obviously just thought, this is what they're going to do, and haven't thought past that.
Yeah.
So the night before they carried out their plan, Jasmine and Jeremy, they watched the movie Natural Born Killers. Now, I've never seen it.
No, I've never.
So I googled it just to have a look.
I've heard of the film, but
and it said that it's about a couple that killed the girl's parents, and then they went on a killing spree across America. So Jeremy described that as the best love story ever.
Okay.
So what does that tell you? So we're back to the murders. the crime. I don't know what I was trying to say there. So on the 22nd of April 2006, there's not much to tell about Jasmine except that, like, her and her family, they had a barbecue in the garden, and Jasmine, she had a bubble bath that night. Jeremy, however, he was busy drinking and taking drugs. Throughout the day and night, he was drinking beer, vodka, and wine. He smoked pot, he snorted loads of cocaine, and he took some ecstasy.
Oh my God.
How he can even function,
I
have no
say.
idea.
Wow, that sounds like a lot.
He went over to a friend's house that night. His name was Jordan. Jeremy had already asked Jordan to help him kill Jasmine's parents, and he had said no, but he asked again. But this guy was like, no way, I'm not killing anyone.
No.
So Jeremy left and went home, and then he called Jordan, and Jordan said that Jeremy had said to him, quote, "If I ever find out you or anyone else told the police about this, I will kill all of you because I won't know which one is the rat." End quote.
Lovely.
So, obviously never said anything.
No. Which, well, you could have wished they had, but...
I think, but
I understand why people...
I still think that nobody was taking them seriously. I still think they were just like, oh,
well, to be fair,
whatever.
If somebody said to me, "Oh, I'm going to kill so-and-so," you're probably like, "Yeah, right, whatever."
Yeah, especially when that person's taking drugs.
Yeah.
They're having this illegal relationship, with a minor. I think you would be like, "Oh, yeah, whatever."
Right, like, here he goes again.
Yeah, I think you would say that.
Yeah, I know, because hindsight is such a great thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if they'd only known, then maybe they would have spoke up. But
yeah, and especially when he's on drugs as well, he's like totally off his face.
Yeah.
I mean,
so people say. Well, people say nonsense not on drugs, never mind on drugs.
Exactly. Me, I'm an example of talking nonsense all the time. So at 3 a.m, he visited his coke dealer, took some more coke and drank some more alcohol.
Oh my God.
And then he went to a shop and bought some chewing gum because Jasmine didn't like the smell of smoke on his breath.
Oh, right, okay.
Obviously the alcohol and whatever.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter, just didn't like this.
Yeah. And then he went to Jasmine's house at 4 a.m. He threw something at her window to wake her up, and she came down and let him in through the basement window. But while he was climbing through the window, because, he was totally drunk and off his face, whatever, he kind of stumbled. He was stumbling around and stuff, so he made, quite a bit of noise. And Jasmine's mum, Deborah, she woke up. So she went downstairs to see what was going on. She just had a wee nightie on, and she just came face to face with Jeremy. So he was wearing a black face mask, black fishnet arm stockings, a leather wristband, and a bandana around his neck. So can you imagine? That must have been terrifying.
Oh, totally.
To be woken up in the middle of the night and to find this guy in your basement, because he was a stranger. I mean, they had saw him that once when he was kissing Jasmine at the punk show, but I doubt they really took that much. I think they were just grabbed their daughter and off they went. And plus he had a face mask on, so they didn't know who it was.
No.
So he immediately started attacking her with a knife. He stabbed her 12 times, hitting her aorta. Aorta? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
And lungs. Blood sprayed onto the stairs and it splattered everywhere, all over the walls, the floor and the ceiling. Obviously she was screaming and that woke up her husband, Mark. So he came running down the stairs with just a pair of boxer shorts on, and by this time Deborah was dead at the bottom of the stairs. He grabbed a screwdriver. It must have just been there, and just grabbed the first thing he saw on the way down, and he immediately went for Jeremy. Jeremy said that he was scared and he stepped back and fell over. Don't know why he was scared.
I was going to say, right.
So Mark obviously took that opportunity and jumped on him and tried to stab him in the chest with the screwdriver. So, but Jeremy managed to knock the screwdriver out of Mark's hand. Mark then pushed his thumb into Jeremy's eyes.
Oh, that's making me rub my eyes. Oh, yeah, okay.
You are rubbing your eyes.
I know, I am rubbing my eyes.
But Jeremy still had the knife, and he was just stabbing at Mark. The attack was so violent that the knife actually bent and it curved at the tip, so it looked like a hook.
Oh,
God. That's how bad it was. So Mark, he put up a bloody good fight.
Yeah.
But Jeremy, he stabbed him 24 times, and this is quite sad. just before he died, he asked, because he, as I said, he didn't know who this man was. To him, this was just a stranger. Yeah. He asked, "Why are you doing this?" And Jeremy replied, "Because you treat your daughter like shit. It's what your daughter wanted." And then Mark died. So that was the last words that he heard before he died. This is what your daughter wanted. That's awful.
That is awful. That's really bad.
It is, especially when he's just done his best for his daughter. You know, he's not...
That's what I mean. He thinks he's done his best. And
yeah, he's not been a bad parent. He's not...
Exactly. He's been hard when he needed to be hard and tried to, keep her on the right path at the end of the day.
Exactly. He's not been... No, he just didn't deserve that.
That's horrible.
So Mark then went up to the kitchen where Jasmine was, and she kissed him and she said that she loved him, and then she went upstairs. He waited for a minute, then he went up to see what she was doing. He had just assumed that she was grabbing some stuff to take with her. But he could hear her talking to someone. And it was her little brother Jacob. So he had been shouting, "Jasmine, what's going on?" And he was in his bed and he was scared. So Jasmine started to comfort him and told him to go to sleep. And she cradled him. She had his neck in the crook of her arm, and she started to squeeze him. He was digging his fingers into her arm and telling her to stop. And he actually managed to get away from her. And he ran into the hallway. He had grabbed his lightsaber to defend himself with, and he said he was too young to die.
Oh, what a shame. Oh, that's horrible.
I know. Jeremy was coming upstairs by this point, covered in blood and like dragging his sleeve along the wall, so there was like a line of blood like going up the staircase. And Jacob must have been absolutely terrified.
Oh, what a shame.
And one of them, I don't know which one it was because they both said it was each other, but one of them said, "We can't just leave him." So Jacob, like his dad, put up a good fight, and later the police said that there was blood literally everywhere in his bedroom. The carpet outside his bedroom door was also soaked with his blood. Jacob had been repeatedly stabbed and had his throat cut.
Oh, that's awful.
And he died choking on his own blood.
Oh, that's really bad.
Jeremy said that Jasmine was the one to cut Jacob's throat. And after she had done it, she just walked right past him, down to the kitchen, just rinsed the knife and left it on the bunker. There was just no emotion. There's just... Nothing. She then told Jeremy to wait outside, and she went to grab her bag that she had already packed and her mum's purse. But Jeremy actually left her there and drove back to his trailer. I think he was just freaked out. He was like panicking and he just didn't want to hang about.
Yeah, just wanted to get away.
So Jasmine called a taxi, went to the cash machine, got some money out of her mum's account, and then got the taxi to take her to Jeremy's trailer. Jeremy took a shower. I'm assuming she must have took a shower as well. But it didn't actually say that, what I was reading. But they put their bloody clothing in a bag, and then they drove to like some apartment building, and they chucked the clothes into a rubbish bin behind it.
Right.
So, I'm going to leave it there for part one.
Okay.
Because that's
well, if anybody's like me,
that was quite a lot.
I know I'll get to hear it in a minute because we're obviously going to record it, but at least you guys only have to wait a day and you'll hear the rest tomorrow.
We will be back tomorrow, so we'll tell you the rest of the story then.
Excellent. Join us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.